Many producers raise cattle, but not Lori Cook, the way she tends to wild game in a ranch setting. A love for learning and adoration for animals leads our next FarmHer to pursue a unique line of work involving both hooves and antlers. We're in Okeechobee, Florida to visit Dr. Lori Cook at the farm where she and her family raise white-tailed deer for breeders and different types of preserves. Hello.
Hey,
how are
Margie,
you?
right?
Yeah, nice to meet you.
So
Yeah.
good to see you.
Well, let's go check out these deer.
Let's check it out.
Dr. Lori and I drive off in the golf cart to tour the various deer pens as she explains how she and her husband began this adventure. I'm guessing that being a veterinarian has helped you ease you into this way faster than like if you just started this out of the blue, right?
I did my due diligence for a couple years though before I did this, because when I started, I sold my practice in Jupiter and we were hunting and we ran into deer farmers at some outdoor expos, and I was just looking for a rangefinder for my boat for hunting, and then I was like talking to him, and I'm like, well, what do you do? And they was like, well, you raise white-tailed deer. I'm going, to do what? You know, kind of thing. And they said, well, we sell to private landowners, other deer farms, and preserves. Yeah. This is a doe pen. We call it Pen 1. So weirdly enough, I name everybody, and my husband goes, you should name them because it's hard to get rid of them. Yeah, but it helps me remember their pedigrees. Yeah. So it's kind of a memory game for me. We have 1, 2, 3 bottle-fed does in here. One super dog tame one who's right there in the corner. She's Morgan.
We saw her when we came in, Morgan.
She'll come up to the...
I actually already petted her head a little bit.
She's a sweetie. And then the other ones in here we have 3 that we call imprints. So they're not bottle fed. The other 2 bottle feds, they're calm. They'll come right up to us and they'll eat out of our cups, but they're not as dog tame as Morgan is. Yeah. The cooks carefully laid out their whitetail paradise, designing it to ensure the deer they raise have the best and safest conditions possible. They have a fright-flight response that the average Joe cow doesn't always have, and it can be anything that startles them. They can just boom, hit a fence, and really hurt themselves. Yeah. And that's why I feel like it's so important to get them used to you being in there. And we've had open houses here. We've had parties here. And, you know, we can tell them they're on high alert, but they're not like freaking out and hitting the fence because they're so used to that exposure. Lori explains the difference between tame and timid. Now you see that blue tag doe, she lifted up her foot and she stomped. Yeah, I didn't see that. She was like, she's watching us and she's a little bit on high alert. See, she's kind of like, She's getting her legs ready to run in case she needs to. They're not liking us here. She's kind of, and she's our newest doe. Where the other does, they're just sitting there chewing their cud, acting fine. Yeah. I have another doe that's kind of always on high alert. But that's her personality, and you see that. I mean, I can look across the pens and I can see who's walking and who it is. You get to learn them. The operation continues to grow, housing an average of 50 deer. As they breed, they focus on genetics and creating the best buck they can for their customers. It's fun because you study the pedigrees and then you see what they threw prior years, and you're trying to figure out who can I breed them to get me this rack to be, you know, fatter or wider or taller tines. And you just, it's homework. You know, you learn your genetics as much as you can, and I'm still learning a lot. As they raise the animals, they must select which ones to keep and which ones to sell to other breeding farms and wildlife preserves. We were excited this year. We got a lot of new preserves on board, and starting out with some small areas where they're going to do whitetail hunts and stuff like that. But just a lot of private landowner people who don't hunt at all. They just want to improve the genetics on their private land and go out in their buggies and be able to see these cool animals. So we have, you know, mother, daughter, and there's a blue tag in there as a granddaughter. So we have a lot of generations in here. Here, girl, what you doing? Huh? What you doing? You okay? Since Lori started out as a veterinarian, she has a better understanding of animal husbandry than some. This is my old lady. I have to give her some arthritis medicine once in a while. Really? Yeah. She gets stiff. She's 11 years old this year. She's had babies every year for 11 years.
When they began raising deer, Lori realized there weren't a lot of standards. So since then, she's kept records, collecting blood and stool samples and documenting her work.
I have all my medicines and supplies. Refrigerator carries my vaccines and my antibiotics, and I put my specimens in there. So like when I get stool samples and if I'm not running them right away, I put them in the refrigerator. And once in a while, I just have some extra surgical stuff in here. If I ever have a sick fawn that needs to be on IVs, I'll leave them in a cage and hook them up and do it that way, and then I pretty much sleep with them until they're better.
Caring for the deer gives Lori and her husband such joy, and she wants to pass that on to others.
We really think it's going to be a huge asset to their program and a true therapeutic approach to some of their recoveries.
The reason their next-door neighbors are benefiting from these beautiful animals. Raising whitetails is a source of income and something the cooks love to do. But Lori says she wants to educate others as well. She introduces me to 2 participants in her mentorship program, which gives hands-on experience with the deer.
I'm involved with the Farm Bureau, and we work really closely with the 4-H and FFA kids. And they've all signed up to help out, of course, with the bottle feeding on the babies. They were all interested in the bottle feeding. So they all came on board right around then. And I say, well, this is a fun time, and it's the ooh and all time for everybody to play with the babies, but there's work that goes on throughout the year. So they were, oh, I don't care. We'll clean buckets, we'll scoop poop. We don't care what we have to do. We just want to be able to interact with the deer.
It was actually really interesting helping out with some of the small surgeries we've been doing. I mean, it'd be really little things, but just being able to like sit and watch like how they all do it is like really interesting to me.
Yeah, it's interesting to see like all of the different symptoms that some of the deer go through and like finding out like what causes it and stuff.
The education doesn't stop there. Lori's also formed a relationship with the Refuge Ranch, a rehabilitation center for women struggling with addiction.
Our program's unique in that we are completely donor supported, and we offer services to women that are indigent and low income and could not have treatment without our services. So in addition to the therapeutic value, the deer sales that we'll do throughout the year will help increase our revenue so that we'll actually be able to offer treatment to more women than we do now. So we're looking forward to seeing, how that's going to grow and how that's going to benefit the women in their recovery process.
Lori hopes the addition of deer at the neighbors and the education of students on her operation will continue to have a positive impact.
Everything's not a bed of roses. Everything's not about the fawns kissing you in the face and the bucks letting you, rub them down and stuff like that and eat out of your cub. There's always things that it's hard work that goes along with the good times and the pleasurable things that you get out of it. But it all comes together and it makes it worth it.
Touring the farm and watching Lori feed the deer was an amazing experience. This alternative FarmHer has found a way to raise delicate creatures while paying complete attention to their needs. Lori weaves together a strong work ethic, a love of animals, and a wealth of knowledge, all the while spreading joy from one FarmHer to the next. Be sure to hit like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss one more FarmHer story, and go check out all the other good stuff we've got right here on our FarmHer channel.